does anyone have any classic movies that they have pretended to have seen? You're willing to admit to it.
I haven't seen Winter Soldier.
Oh. Listen, Aaron. It's fine.
I loved working with Adam on my last film, and I thought he was amazing in that film, but I think people thought that he was playing a version of himself. He plays a kind of shy character, and which is not at all like Adam. So I felt maybe his performance was underrated in a way because they didn't see that it was actually a very nuanced performance. So I had this idea to write a role that was the opposite end of the spectrum, this very gregarious character, and show this other side of Adam. So that was an early inspiration for the film.
Did you feel the same way, like, oh, I want to show people that that was actually not like me? And
well, I think the end game for any actor is to be able to show as much range as they can. And of course, with any role, you sort of like tap into the bits of the character that you identify with and exaggerate those. But it's also like far removed from other stereotypes and other kinds of roles that actors like myself and other disabled actors get offered. Something that was out there, gregarious, successful, and what I liked about the character and the way it came across on paper is that the disabilities like rarely mentioned, if at all.
Sebastian, how did this come to you? Did you guys know each other, or how did that?
You know, my agent just loved Chain for Life and sent me the script and the movie and said, you really should look at this filmmaker and the script. And it was, you know, and then I just immediately, when I saw his film and then I read it, I recognized how different it was, obviously, for many, many reasons, but also how important and how, you know, something like this doesn't usually, it just doesn't get made. It doesn't, and it certainly doesn't come to me, you know. And so then it was, I felt more really in pursuit of him and Vanessa, his wife, producing partner, you know, and really trying to kind of make sure I am understanding what he's after, you know.
What felt most different for you in production of this film, in making it on set versus stuff you've done before?
I mean, everything, everything about it. I mean, we were, you know, like, again, like a very low budgeted movie that we were shooting in New York City for like, I get the days, 22 days? 22 days, and it was like COVID. You know, there was a lot of things, and there was a timing issue, you know, there was a prosthetics piece to it that I'd never really encountered that was important to find. And there was not a lot of time, you know, to get these shots. And he was very specific with how he wanted to make this movie. And so, you know, we were in this tiny apartment, you know, with dollies and tracking shots and stuff. And so everybody on that movie, all the crews had to just be on top of their game. And also because he's doing one takes, which was incredible because it keeps us like, you know, all of us like on our toes. And when it goes, it's amazing, but all it takes is one little thing to not, takes one sound person or just one thing, you know, to kind of screw up the take on film, which also you don't get a lot of takes. So like the anxiety level was pretty high, but but when you get it, you know, and when it works, it's just like the most unbelievable feeling. You just feel gratified and unified.
I just had to accept the nervousness. It was my first English-speaking movie, or outside Norway at all. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I didn't know it was like one takes, one shots, and it was a lot of text. It was very intimidating.
I said to Aaron early on, you know, I was like, I really want to speak to Adam, and he was very kind and gracious to be very candid with me about his experience and growing up and so on. And I was like, I'm never going to understand how to approach this. But he brought up this point, which I never would have thought, which was like, look, you understand what it's like to be a public figure, right? Like to some extent, like if you're recognized, you're public property. And that I understand. And it's not, you know, I've had my little, very different, but some experience with just the invasion of that. And the public property idea here was really interesting. I hadn't thought about that.